The ability to properly persuade somebody about a belief, a product, or a service that you are selling is the ability to actually change the trajectory of your life and not only make more money, but help all the people that you want to serve and help the people in your life. I'm going to, in this video, teach you the exact formula that I had to figure out for myself after knocking on 10,000 doors, creating multiple seven-figure businesses, and actually training multiple advisors. Also how to do this as well. Exactly what I'm going to teach you today. It's 4 steps. And step 1 is knowing exactly who you're talking to. Step 2, knowing exactly what the desired outcome is. Step 3, creating an easy path to get there. And step 4, understanding the psychological barriers that you will run into. Understand all 4 of these, then you will have unlimited persuasion power for the rest of your life, and you'll never have to worry about money ever again. So let's dive in, and I'll give you exact practical information that I used in my own life to do exactly this. So let's dive in.
This is Matt Petruso, real estate investor, entrepreneur, business owner, and author. He shares these lessons that brought him from a miserable 9-to-5 to a multi-millionaire lifestyle completely on his terms. If you want to learn how to make more money, build a network of strong brothers and women all around the world, hit the subscribe button for videos like this every week.
So I want you to think about sales and persuasion as a recipe. So if you have 1 ingredient, maybe 2 ingredients, yeah, you might be able to get something every now and then. You might be able to make a sale. But if you have all 4 ingredients that we're going to talk about, then the sale is pretty much almost guaranteed. And I'm going to go through exactly practical steps of how I learned this and how I implemented it in my specific situation. But no matter what business or service or life that you're trying to create, you can use this for humans, right? This is a human, system that you can help move them from one position to another position that benefits you. So that's how we're going to discuss this whole formula today. But think of it as, like I said, we have these 4 circles here, and that is how we create the right here, which is the juice. That's the juice, right? So if you can get all 4, then that's where the money happens. All right, so the first one, like I said in the intro, was going to be knowing exactly who you're talking to. Because if you try and talk to everyone, then you're actually talking to no one, because not everybody's in the same situation, not everybody's going to want the same things, and not everybody desires the same things. So you're going to be able to talk more decisively to an individual that's specifically in a situation that you know you're talking to. So in my situation, I started in insurance, and it wasn't just general insurance. It was specifically talking to senior citizens who were turning 65 and were confused about Medicare. So that's exactly who I was talking to. So I knew exactly who I was talking to. So this is the who. So if we know exactly the demographic of person, so even though my skill set, I could have sold 23, 24, 25-year-old people the same type of health insurance with my license, but if I was targeting that person, that wouldn't be as valuable. So I focused specifically on a different demographic, so I knew exactly who I was talking to. And then 2, if you know exactly what the desired outcome is, right? So this is something I had to actually figure out, that I thought the outcome that I was selling them was a product or a service, that they could get from the insurance company. But what I ended up finding out was what they actually really desired was somebody that they could have as a trusted person in their corner to take a lot of their burden of responsibility, of the confusion of what they didn't know, and knowing that they had somebody in their corner, okay? So this is how you learn what a specific outcome is after talking to a lot of people. So if you know exactly who you're talking to, and you have some type of service or product that's helping that individual, after you talk to a lot of people, you will find out what their actual desired outcome is, because you actually talk to them. You figure out, oh, it's not just a commodity that you're selling them peace of mind. So my business, my slogan is actually peace of mind is our business, because that's what we sell. We don't necessarily try and commoditize because somebody else can come in and, replace your business if you're just a commodity. So knowing the desired outcome is very important because you can talk to them a little bit differently. So when I'm talking to somebody, they're going to be obviously speaking, I'm going to be speaking about not just the product that they're getting, but the service. So it's a combined effort of the desired outcome. So you need to know what the specific outcome is. Then 3, what is the path, right, for them to get the specific outcome? So these 3 here are probably, what most people will talk about, because if I know exactly how I'm going to get the outcome and I know who I'm talking to, well, you might be able to get pretty good. However, the path is very, it's important just to break down and say, okay, step 1, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go over your specific situation. We're going to review your situation. We're going to analyze it, and we're going to figure out how your situation meets this specific plan, and going forward, these are the benefits that you will get along the way. So that's the path that they will get out of the desired outcome. So pretty logical, right? So these are the first 3. But if you get this 4th one right and combine all of it together, it is the absolute most important one, which is the psychological, push-pull that I call. And the book that you can really dive deeper into this is by Robert Cialdini. It's called Influence, and it has 7 major psychological, barriers for influence. And it's very important to know what they are. So this is basically, for the psych, right? So if you know the psychology, and you combine all of this together, it's very important to really hone in on understanding this, because what it will do is it will give you the ability to pretty much persuade anybody at any time. So obviously read the book, Robert Cialdini. I'll give you the 7 real quick. We're not going to go too deep into it, but I'll give you kind of a practical use case of how I actually use this. So the first one is reciprocity. Right? So reciprocity is basically if I give something of value to somebody, they feel that they need to obviously reciprocate the favor. So every time that I ever talked to somebody, I was door-to-door knocking, I always led with value. I always led with how can I provide some type of useful information, educate them a bit, and give them something right up at the beginning, because I needed to get inside the house, right? So I needed to give them a good amount of value right as we started, right? So if you can, give them value right away, they will want to reciprocate that appreciation, right? So that's 1. 2, commitment and consistency. So commitment and consistency, this is in my scenario, I needed them to commit to a small thing to let me in the house. So I would obviously say, hey, you have something that you're confused about, there's something that you are frustrated about that doesn't make sense to you, and if they said yes, then we could get in the door, and they committed to saying yes, right? They committed to allowing me in. Once I got in, then I knew I could help them, So the first thing is I needed them to commit a little bit to just give me 5 minutes to break the barrier, right? So if I could get them to commit and keep consistent with a person that is, curious about information, then we could move forward. So that's the second one, commitment and consistency. So the next is social proof. So social proof is basically our psychological brains. We want to basically case study around and see, do other people trust this person, right? So what I would often do is I'd say, hey, I met with Mrs. Smith and Mr. Smith down the road. We helped them out with their specific situation, and they told me that you're also in this situation and confused about Medicare. So we just want to come by and make sure that, you're taken care of as well. So that's what we would do. We would, make sure that they know that other people trusted us. Social proof, right? Then 4th is the liking. So liking, I'll give you a quick story about how I kind of understood this, but obviously liking is just being a likable character, right? Being somebody that's, charismatic, positive, not a negative person, be a likable character. But I remember when I first started, I didn't know any of this stuff, and my first day out on sales, I came down, I was all dressed up to the nines, and I sprayed myself with cologne, and I get down to, go out on the road with my dad, who was training me at the time, and he goes, go upstairs, shower, and wipe off all of that cologne. I go, oh, I thought I smelled good. And I'm like, oh, shoot, okay. So I went up, I came down, and I was like, why do I need to, take this cologne off? He goes, well, some people might like it, but some people won't like it. So immediately, you don't want to turn somebody off with a smell. Just be clean, and that's good enough. So you don't want to immediately turn somebody off and not like you because of a smell that they might not like, right? So it's just simple things that, like, you have to be an attractive character, so you want them to like you, right? You want them to trust you, right? So the next is authority. All right, so in my scenario, you can't do everything at the beginning, but at the beginning, you can use authority not from yourself, you can use it from someone else. Like, I used the authority of the fact that my father was a great salesman, and I didn't have much authority yet, but I knew that the company, the people that I worked with already had the authority, so I used their authority. And then later on, when I started my own agency, I actually wrote a book on Medicare called Medicare Made to Order, which gave me authority because I was the expert in this specific field. So if you can, show authority, then obviously you're going to be a little bit more ahead than other people. All right, the next is unity, which is basically trying to create a community of people that obviously all participate in the same type of, trajectory, right? So I would always put my clients say, hey, now you're part of this group that doesn't ever have to worry about all the telemarketers scamming them. You don't have to worry about all the junk mail that you're getting. You're part of a group that knows exactly what's going on, and you have somebody in your corner. So you're part of a community that doesn't have to be, taken advantage of. That was kind of what I would do. I would make sure that they felt that they're part of a community that wasn't the community that was being taken advantage of. They were going to be, well taken care of for the rest of their life. And then lastly, scarcity. Scarcity. So scarcity is crucial. So we humans desire things that are scarce and highly in demand. So if your time is actually scarce, then it's important to state that, right? So one of the things that I actually learned when I was out on the road with my dad, he would always say, oh, hey, there's an enrollment period that we're working in this area today. I don't know if we'll be back again, until maybe the next enrollment period. And I was like, Dad, what enrollment period is happening? He goes, well, the enrollment period that I'm here today, right? He goes, you're not lying. He goes, it's true. He goes, I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. So you tell the people that if you have, 5 minutes today, well, I don't know when the next 5 minutes. If there's something you're confused about, well, I genuinely don't know if I'll be here when the time works for you. So we had to literally figure out how to get in the door because these people didn't know we were coming. So we had to learn a lot of ways to make our time very scarce so they would let us in. So if you can use all of these techniques, but use them in a genuine way, we knew we could genuinely help these people. So we had to make sure that, we gave them tons of value. We made them commit to trusting us. We showed them social proof with other people that we helped in the area. We were likable characters. We wanted to actually provide value to them. We were authorities because we knew what we were talking about, and we've been doing it a long time. We kept them in a group of obviously like-minded people that wanted to actually be a person that, was ahead of the game, right? And then lastly, making sure that our time was valuable and they needed to appreciate that. And if you can use this, it will make you not only appreciate your clients more, but them appreciate you more and not, bug you for little things, but know that your time is actually valuable and they will actually appreciate you more and you will appreciate your clients. So if you can do all of these things, I promise you, you will make sure that your money is never ever out of whack, because if you have the ability to sell something, you will always be a scarce, in-demand individual. So go out there, know exactly who you're talking to, know the desired outcome, give them the path of how to get there with the least amount of resistance, and then understand the psychological barriers that you're going to run into. And you will, I guarantee, be a successful persuasion master. Peace, and be easy.